Did you actually know that every time your puppy bites you, it is not acting out? It is running a psychological test. And depending on how you respond, that test either gets answered or it keeps running for months. Most owners treat biting like a behavioral problem, something you correct, redirect, and eventually move past. But what is really happening inside that puppy's mind is something most people have never been told. The biting is not random. It is not teething frustration. It is a psychological report, and your puppy is filing it on you, on how it sees you, on where it has placed you inside its social world. And once you understand what it is actually saying, you will never respond to a bite the same way again. What you learn in the next few minutes might completely change the way you raise your dog. Here is what the biting is actually telling you. 1. Playful biting means your puppy has placed you inside the littermate category. Have you ever watched a litter of puppies together? They bite constantly. Ears, paws, necks, tails. It is their primary language. It is how they play, how they bond, and how they test every relationship in their small world. So when your puppy comes sprinting toward you, tail going, mouth open, nibbling at your fingers, that is not aggression. That is a social invitation. But here is the part most owners never actually consider. That invitation is coming from a very specific psychological place. Your puppy is treating you the way it would treat a sibling from the same litter. Research from the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior confirms that play biting is the primary way puppies map social relationships in early development. It is not random behavior. Every bite is a data point. The puppy watches how you react. Do you yelp, pull away, laugh, and keep going? Each response teaches it something. And if your reaction consistently looks and feels like another puppy playing back, that categorization sticks. You become a littermate, an equal. Which sounds harmless until you realize what that actually costs you long term. An equal is not a guide. An equal does not carry authority. And that psychological gap will quietly undermine every command, every boundary, every training session you try to build on top of it. You are not just failing to stop the biting, you are failing to fill the role your dog is searching for. Stay with me, because the second type of biting is where things start to get more serious. 2. Persistent biting means your puppy is questioning whether you have any real structure at all. Here is the distinction that matters. Playful biting stops when you redirect. Persistent biting circles back. You say no, the puppy pauses, then comes right back and bites again. Most people call this stubbornness. It is not. It is a very specific psychological state, and understanding it changes everything. According to VCA animal hospitals, when puppies engage in repetitive biting despite correction, it consistently signals that no clear social structure has been identified in the relationship. The puppy is still searching. It is asking a question with every bite. Are you my equal, or are you something more? Because here is what modern behavioral science has confirmed about wolf packs, and domestic dogs share this exact social wiring. The figure at the top of a healthy pack is not the most aggressive one. It is the one who behaves most like a parent. Calm, consistent, predictable. The one who sets limits without panic, without matching the puppy's energy with frustration, without changing the rules based on mood. When your puppy bites persistently, it is not trying to take over. It is trying to find the parent figure in the room. And if it does not find one in you, it will assume that role for itself. And that is when the real behavioral problems begin. Anxiety, reactivity, resource guarding, all of it roots back to this one unresolved psychological question. This is also where most training fails. People correct the bite and ignore the psychology underneath it entirely. The ASPCA has pointed this out directly. Suppressing behavior without addressing the relationship that produced it only delays the problem. Biting comes back, sometimes harder, because the symptom changed, the source never did. And if this is shifting the way you see your dog, take a second and subscribe. This channel is built for owners who want to truly understand their dog, not just manage it. 3. Hard biting means your puppy is in psychological overload, and punishment will make it significantly worse. This is the bite that frightens most owners, the one that actually hurts, the one that feels less like play and more like pressure. And the instinct for almost every person in that moment is to react hard, raise the voice, pin the dog, isolate it. But here is what is actually happening inside that puppy. Hard biting in young dogs, according to research reviewed by the Association of Professional Dog Trainers, is rarely about dominance. It is almost always about arousal escalation combined with deep social confusion. The puppy's nervous system has crossed a threshold it cannot bring itself back from, and biting is the only communication it has left in that moment. But what drives the escalation? Nearly always, it is inconsistency. Sometimes you play along. Sometimes you redirect. Sometimes you raise your voice. From your puppy's perspective, the rules of your relationship keep shifting, and an animal that cannot predict the behavior of the being it lives with cannot feel psychologically safe. That unresolved tension builds across days and weeks, and hard biting is where it finally surfaces. Correcting that bite in the moment does not fix the internal state that caused it. It just adds pressure to an already overwhelmed animal. Now here is the insight that connects all three, and it is the one most dog owners never actually reach. You cannot train your way out of a psychology problem. Playful biting, persistent biting, hard biting, these are not three separate training issues. They are three chapters of the same story. Your puppy telling you exactly where you stand in its psychological world right now. And the only way to change what it communicates is to change that position first. Not through dominance, not through force, through consistency, through calm, through becoming the predictable, structured presence that every puppy's instincts are already scanning the room for. When your limits hold without drama, when your energy stays steady whether the puppy is biting or sleeping, when your behavior stops being a variable, something shifts in your dog's mind. The testing slows, the biting fades, not because you trained it away, but because your puppy finally found what it was looking for and stopped needing to search. Your puppy is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to understand you. Give it something clear to understand, and the biting takes care of itself. If this changed how you see your dog, share it with someone whose puppy is doing the same thing, and stay for the next video, because what you build after the biting stops is where the real bond begins.